let's take a look at this ninth pick because a bit of noise has come out surrounding what the Raptors want to do with that pick. I mean, honestly, right now, there is a ton of noise coming out of the Raptors as a whole. Like, there's so much noise. Like, every player that's potentially available, the Raptors are interested. Every move that can be made, the Raptors are linked to it. There's some reporting there suggesting the Raptors are involved in some capacity. But now there's even some reports coming out that the Raptors are maybe looking to make a trade for the NBA draft. And this is in relation to the Raptors and their desire to go get a big. The Raptors want to go find a big man, it seems, with the draft. And Khaman Maluach is that player on the pedestal. That is the guy they want. And I said earlier in the stream already that if Khaman Maluach is available, they're going to draft him. I'm pretty confident in that. I think he's a great player who would be the best available at 9, and I think it'd be a fantastic fit at 9 as well. It's not about, I mean, listen, you draft talent over fit, but when one of the most talented players there is also a great fit, you go for that. And I think they will go for Khaman Maluach. But a lot of people like Khaman Maluach. I mean, you look at the state of the draft. This is just like a Tankathon mock draft I've already had open, but he's currently mocked to the Raptors at number 9. But the Wizards could decide to take him, move Sar out to like power forward. The Pelicans could decide to take him, make him the starting big, nice tandem with Yves Missy. The Brooklyn Nets could draft him. He could either back up Claxton or they could trade Claxton. Raptors absolutely have a good spot for Khaman Maluach coming off the bench. I don't think he's ready to start, so I think he'd be great coming off the bench behind Jakob Poeltl. So I really, really like Khaman Maluach and the fit that's presented there. But like I said, there are teams ahead that could look at him. And even like some people have rumored for him to go or discussed the possibility of him going as high as 4 to the Charlotte Hornets, which I'm not as sold on. But like, yeah, a lot of teams are going to be interested. So what if he isn't available? What is the pivot for the Raptors? Because I don't know. I would like somebody, and please in the chat, please present me the case for Derek Queen because he's personally not. I'm not sold. I'm not there on him. I struggle to see the adaptability of a big who is paint oriented on defense, who can't protect the rim, isn't great at defending in space as well. Not athletic, very unathletic. Undersized, like he's not really. He's like a little shorter than I guess I'd want my center to be. He's 6'9.25" without shoes. On offense, offensive hub passer, but can't shoot. Super paint oriented, so can't defend the rim, can't shoot. I feel like you have to have one of those as a big, and he doesn't, and it just scares me a little bit. And the fact that he's not athletic. Now, what would make him really good is if he's just an offensive hub and he's just so good offensively that it masks all that bad stuff. And a player like Phoenix mentioned in chat, a player like Domantas Sabonis is so talented offensively and can be such an offensive hub that it masks the problems that exist on the other end of the floor and the fact and a bit of the lack of space. He can kind of shoot, but like not a shooter by any stretch of the imagination. But he would have to be that good on offense to continue to be effective in the NBA, right? He just has to be so good, like Şengün. He's so good on offense, but he is also improving quite a lot on the defensive end. So you would have to bet on a lot of improvement to take place. And the issue is it just leaves such a low floor for Queen. His ceiling is there, but I don't think it's a super high ceiling. And I agree with Phoenix saying Domantas Sabonis caps your ceiling as a team because you do need either a center defending who's protecting the rim really well or he's facing the floor on offense. So like you've got Miles Turner for the Pacers. He's not a fantastic defender, but he's spacing the floor. He's giving a lot to the offense. And he can still kind of do his thing defensively. So for Queen, that type of player, I struggle to see that being somebody you can trust in the biggest games, which is why I'm a little bit afraid there. So the Raptors, I don't know if they see the same thing here, but with Maluach potentially not being available, they might be hell-bent on getting a center, and they could still decide to trade back a little bit and make a pick. There's reporting coming from Jake Fisher, who has turned out to be a very credible source of information when it comes to the Toronto Raptors. And it's aggregated here by Omer Osman, who does a great job with pulling Raptors information on Twitter. If you want to go follow him at Omer Osman 200. Toronto's number 9 is the most likely top 10 pick to be traded. Anticipation the Raptors will part with it has also been fueled by Maluach being drafted before the Raps get the chance. Word is the Raptors are evaluating 5s, would be available later in the first round. I've been told Danny Wolf and Hassan Newell are 2 prime candidates. So, important notation here. I've seen this misreported. I've seen this misquoted. The most likely top 10 pick to be traded. Now, just because it's the most likely of the top 10 to be traded does not mean it is likely to be traded. I have seen people who have quoted this. So, the most likely top 10 pick to be traded, I have seen this reported as instead top 10 pick most likely to be traded. See how we can change around the words and make it mean something completely different? But it does showcase that there is at least some sort of buzz that the Raptors could move back in the draft. So what are the options for the Raptors to do that? Well, moving back in the draft, I think like the cost of moving back in the draft should be you're giving away a lottery pick, you get 2 picks later. So like the only team that can really do that, which is why I kind of see this as a little bit unlikely, is that the only really like, if I'm not mistaken, there's not really any team that's doing this other than Brooklyn. I guess Atlanta could do it as well. Atlanta at 13 and 22. Does Atlanta go 13 and 22 for the 9th pick? They'd have to really love somebody at 9, which I'm not sure they do. Would Brooklyn go 19 and 26 to move up to 12 or to 9? Sorry, I think that's a lot more reasonable, and I think that's something that could stand to happen. And in the event it does happen, I don't know. Is Newell available? Is Danny Wolf available? I've seen them mocked higher. I've seen them mocked lower. For Danny Wolf, that's like. I said it already. Is that like your offensive hub sort of center? Maybe a little bit. Good passer, good playmaker. He does turn the ball over a lot, but like you can work on that. It's clear that he reads the game very well and his decision making is good. It's just about the execution of doing that. It's decent candidate. Now, for Newell, I like Newell a lot more. Big time athlete in the paint. Offensively, lob threat at the rim, good catch radius. I think that'd be an interesting one for the Raptors to use as a roll man on offense. Defensively, bit more ability to defend in space. He's athletic enough to be a bit of a shot blocker on defense as well. He's not like a terrific shot blocker, but you know, he's got the size and athleticism to be that bit of a shot blocker and to be a threat there. So I can see the vision there. And the issue is I see the vision a lot more existent for Danny Wolf and Newell, especially like later in the draft, than I do see for Derek Queen at number 9. So I can be sold on this. I can see this vision. I can see the Raptors doing this. But really, the problem will be, like, I think it costs a lot to trade up, hence why I was against the Raptors trading up, because I'm like, you have to trade a lot to move up. And I'm not sure other teams are going to be willing to do that. I'm not sure the teams see something that they desperately want at 9 so that they would want to make that move up. And you know, maybe it's not those two teams. Maybe somebody else gives away, like, the Spurs give away the 14th pick in a future first and move up to 9. Could that be something as well? Potentially. But if they're going to do that and they get a guy they like there, I would support it. But I think I'm still going to stick to my guns and say my expectation is the Raptors select 9th overall at the draft. Are they selecting for themselves or somebody else? I mean, probably for themselves. But I am Raptors select for themselves at number 9 and just take the best player available, even if it's not Maluach or not a center.